NBC Sports, home of the Olympic Games, the Premier League, NASCAR, the FedEx Cup playoffs, and Primetime's #1 show, Sunday Night Football.
It's the birthplace of the NFL, and again tonight, it hosts the start of the season. Welcome to Canton and Hall of Fame weekend as we celebrate the return of football and the class of 2022.
We're a family. All we got to do is be us.
6 months removed.
The Rams were built to win the Super Bowl.
From a Hollywood ending.
They have sealed the deal.
Now, football is back.
We plan on playing in January and February.
Expectations are high.
The first pick, Trayvon Walker.
With new faces and new places.
Who is this?
Look at him. He's working on that tan.
With hope for the future. We salute the past.
Hey. Pro Football Hall of Fame 2022.
It's time to celebrate
This better not be no joke.
what they've earned
The NFL Hall of Fame, baby.
and what we've been waiting for.
Yes, touchdown.
In the place where legends live.
Welcome to Canton.
Let the dreams begin.
Emotions and excitement riding high as the festivities are underway here in Canton and at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. The illustrious careers of 8 men will be recognized all week long, and on Saturday, they'll formally be enshrined into the hall. Now, we've seen many make their way here to mark the occasion, including their colleagues, some of the greatest to ever play the game, and they're alongside thousands of football fans from across the country. And as we celebrate the class of 22, tonight also kicks off NFL season 103. The Jaguars and Raiders entering new eras tonight with 2 new head coaches at the helm. But finally, guys, football is back as we bring you the Pro Football Hall of Fame game on NBC. And we have waited a long time to be able to say this, but hello everyone and welcome back to Football Night in America. I'm Maria Taylor alongside our very own Hall of Famer, Tony Dungy, and our rookie, Jason Garrett. But Coach, I have a question. If there's any time to wear the gold jacket, it would be today. Where is it? Where is the jacket?
I forgot it. It's back at the hotel.
That is a rookie move.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, Jason
definitely.
would have wore his jacket.
He's got the flair for the dramatics. It's coming later.
Okay, well, if he did have the jacket, you would know immediately he's a Hall of Famer. But since we already told you, Coach, you would know exactly what it was like to be inducted into the Hall. In 2016, that was your year. How would you describe some of the best moments that you had?
Just unbelievable. Those shots we saw bring back memories. The knock on the door, the parade, the induction ceremony. But for me, Maria, the moment of emotion was the gold jacket ceremony Friday night. You come in your suit like this,
there it is,
and you walk down through these Hall of Famers. You see people, your teammates, your former coaches, players, and then you get that gold jacket and you say, I'm one of these guys, Jason. It just, I can't even describe how it feels. 362 guys in the history of the NFL, and you're one of them. Congrats. It's an unbelievable honor.
Yeah, and you know, Jason, we don't have the jackets. We didn't go through all of the motions of being inducted, but we still understand the magnitude. What are the stories that you have that really seal that point forward?
Yeah, I was reminded of the magnitude in 2006 when my old teammate and good friend Troy Aikman gets inducted. I'm coaching the quarterbacks in Miami for Coach Saban. I get the invitation about 3 months out, and I want to go. Troy and I played together for 8 years. He's a great friend. A lot of incredible moments, some tough times together. I want to be there for him, but it's in the middle of training camp. I don't really know what to do. And your coach is a workaholic. Yeah, he absolutely is. So I finally muster enough courage to go down and see Coach Saban, and I'm kind of hemming and hawing about it. He's like, what are you asking me? And finally I said, hey, my good buddy Troy Aikman's going into the Hall of Fame. It's in the middle of training camp, and he cuts me off. He says, do you know anything about life? I kind of said, well, he said, this is the Hall of Fame. This is a great buddy of yours, your teammates for 8 years. You got to be there. Go. And he said, oh, by the way, we can survive without you for a couple days in Miami. We're going to be okay.
Everything still worked out without you there.
It worked out
But
fine.
it's great to hear a workaholic like Nick Saban is like, hey, I get it. You'll never be able to see this moment ever again. Yeah. But, Coach, we don't understand what a weekend like this is like for the 8 guys that are here today. I mean, there's a lot going on behind the scenes as they prepare for the moment to even give their speech.
There is. There's a lot of pressure. First of all, you only get a limited amount of tickets. You've got 1 million people to invite. Who do I leave off the list? That's hard. Making sure all your family, your former coaches, former teammates are all taken care of. And then you have to give a speech. And you want to thank everybody. You want to do it right, but you've only got 15 minutes. How in the world do I do this? And then to me, I gave the speech, Jason, and then I was like, okay, I'm in now. I'm in.
You were a brand new man after that. You're like, all right, now we can celebrate. I feel good. All right, we're going to try to find Coach's gold jacket. We're going to work on that throughout the rest of the show. But we also want you to meet the 8 members in this year's class. Now, of course, a few have ties to the Jags and the Raiders, which includes Tony Baselli and Cliff Branch. We're going to talk to Richard Seymour. Well, really, Rodney Harrison is, because that's his former teammate. And we have so much more on the entire class throughout the show. So we'll certainly be celebrating the past and what those guys have been able to do on the field of play. But we're also preparing for NFL season 2022. So, okay, let's just take a plane 3,000 feet in the sky. Give me your storyline, Coach Dungy, about what you're excited to see or expecting as the season starts.
Well, I know my buddies who are still in coaching, they're excited about getting back to a normal routine. You know, for 2 years they've had virtual meetings, no off-season program, those kind of things. And now it's back to normal. But that puts some pressure on you because I think the football is going to be better coming out of the gate. So there is pressure to get off to a great start.
No question. It's going to be much better coming out of the gate. The thing I'm excited about is everybody's talking about these young quarterbacks in the AFC. Mahomes, Josh Allen, Herbert. They're great players. They're going to be fantastic players for a long time. But I kind of like the old guard in the NFC. You know, Matthew Stafford defending the title in L.A. and that guy Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, 2 of the all-time greats, you know, making their last stand. It's going to be exciting to watch.
Oh, you're going with the guarantees, Coach.
So you think some of these old quarterbacks can still play a little bit?
They can still do it.
How about this? Last season was the first time since 2009 that either Brady or Rodgers wasn't in a conference championship game. So I'm riding with you on that one, Jason. He's got a big point. And we're all excited to see the old guard back on the field. But our old guys, our gang is here too in Canton. We got Rodney Harrison, Chris Sims, and Jack Collinsworth. Hey, guys. How you doing down there on the field?
We're good. We're not old either. We're young over here. We're young.
Welcome to the squad, man. And the last time this group was together, we put a ring on the L.A. Rams. But after a busy offseason, what has your attention right now around the league?
Can it be 3 in a row? Like, can that really happen? And what I mean by that is Brady to the Bucks, win a Super Bowl. Stafford, just an okay quarterback, goes to the Rams, wins the Super Bowl. Like Jason Garrett said, we got some quarterbacks on the move this year. Russell Wilson in Denver, Matt Ryan, Indianapolis Colts. Can that possibly happen 3 years in a row? That's something I'm looking for.
I look at Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan is definitely an upgrade at quarterback position. You look at the leadership, the experience, the consistency, and then he has a running back like Jonathan Taylor. I expect the Colts to make the playoffs.
Well-rounded team, right.
And fellas, how about this wide receiver money exploding through the roof right now? Mahomes and Rodgers both going to have to put this run together without their best weapon on the outside. I got my money on them doing it, Hot Rod. They know what they're doing.
I look at the Packers, and offensively, I don't worry about them scoring a lot of points. I don't worry about them scoring points because of Aaron Rodgers. Even with the loss of Devontae Adams, I look at them as being a better team now because of the defense. You look at what they've done via free agency, the draft. They get their #1 cornerback in Zaire Alexander. They still got those pass rushers coming off the edge. I expect them to dominate on defense.
Yeah, so you think the run game defense is going to add to some more wins for Green Bay?
Absolutely, and not have to depend on Rodgers to pull it out every single time.
Yeah.
Amen. Fellas, we are kicking off the NFL season at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and in 5 weeks, the regular season starts at the home of the defending Super Bowl champs, the Bills and the Rams. The game America needs is SoFi Stadium, the 2022 NFL kickoff presented by Verizon, September 8th, right here on NBC. And the newest Raider, Devontae Adams, paying respect to Hall of Famer Cliff Branch on his way into the Hall.
With the first pick of the 2022 draft,
the Jacksonville Jaguars select
from the University of Georgia,
Trayvon Walker.
Trayvon Walker, ladies and gentlemen. I called Kirby and said, I'm going down to Jacksonville. Like, go ahead and give me my ring. And you can borrow my ring if you left it in Georgia.
Good.
You got the diamonds too? You sure? Are they real?
A few more. He might have gave you the knockout.
For everyone in Jacksonville, they want to know more about their #1 pick.
If I'm going to be somewhere, like if I'm going to be at practice, I'm going to be giving my all to the game of football. That's what I love to do.
You're like this very low-key person, but I feel like there's an alter ego on the field. Is that fair to say?
Definitely. Like, a lot of people not going to see that side of me because I'm not a loud person, but on the field, like, I get reckless on the field. Come back in the locker room, I'm that friendly guy, that talks to everybody, laugh, I'm goofy. Like, once you get to know me, then we're going to have some fun together.
Great spending time with Travon Walker. I took away that he has a lot of discipline. His dad was a Marine, so he's been cutting grass in a helmet and a sweat jacket since the 6th grade. So I'm pretty sure his coach, Doug Peterson, would be really happy about that coming in. He's a hard worker. And guess what? Jack Collinsworth had a chance to catch up with him.
Well, Coach, we just heard from your first overall pick, Travon Walker. What's been your first impression of his game?
You know, I tell you what, this guy, to be as young as he is, a very mature individual. He takes the game seriously. He takes his game seriously. And he, you know what, he's really off to a good start here in training camp. And you know, these games are going to be important for him and his growth. But seeing some really good things in practice, and now you know, he gets to put it into action tonight.
Well, after a Super Bowl ring in Philly, being away from the game for a couple of years, what made you want to lead this Jacksonville team right now?
You know, this team it's a great opportunity for me and for this organization. And, you know, I wasn't ready to hang it up just yet, and just needed a little time to kind of refocus myself and kind of recenter. But this is a great opportunity. I love the quarterback, Trevor, where he's at and his growth. And you know, I really think this team is young, you know, energetic football team, something that, you know, just kind of drew me to them, and just a great opportunity, and Mr. Khan to give me this chance to lead this team.
You mentioned Trevor Lawrence. He got plenty of game time experience last year. How did you want to develop this relationship with your quarterback?
You know, it's a day-to-day, week-to-week process, and you know, as long as he and I are on the same page and we communicate all the time, and we've really hit it off, you know, all the way back to when I was hired in February, and he was one of the few guys that was there to kind of greet me in the building. So just excited to be able to work with him. Looking forward to not only finishing up this training camp and obviously the regular season, but young player, excited for him, and you know, I think sky's the limit with him.
Coach, really appreciate your time. Have a great season. We'll send it over to Rodney Harrison, standing by with Raiders head coach Josh McDaniels.
Coach, most people don't realize you're from here, you played in this stadium, but what I didn't realize is just how big of a celebrity you are. I'm driving over here, I see this big billboard of you, your pretty face. How does it feel to get home?
It's a blessing. My family and I spent so many nights in this stadium, this area of the country, and this town specifically has so much to do with why I'm involved in the game of football, and being able to follow my dad around on this field forever. That's why I fell in love with coaching, and so it's kind of come full circle, and it's going to be great tonight to share this night with a bunch of great people.
Now, why did you choose the Raiders, and what made them so appealing to you?
You know, when I first met Mr. Davis, and you could see and hear his vision, you know, he's the son of a coach, and that meant something to me. And you could just hear, you know, what he wants to build and what he wants to get back to. He's committed to winning and committed to doing it the right way, and it just was an exciting opportunity for me to hear that from him, and it just felt like the right place at the right time.
What have you seen from Derek Carr and Devontae Adams that have you excited for the season?
It's amazing how much chemistry that they have, you know, without having played together, you know, for the last so many years. But it's really an interesting pairing, the two of them. They communicate very easily on and off the field. Two great human beings, and two guys that love football and work very hard, set their bar really high for our team, and go out there and meet that standard each day.
Well, hey, nothing but the best for you, Coach. It's great to see you.
Thanks a lot, Rodney.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right, thanks, Rodney. What an incredible moment for Coach McDaniels. We are literally looking at his high school, Canton McKinley. This is the field he played under the Friday Night Lights, but now he's starting his second era of head coaching with the Raiders, and we really have two new coaches taking the helm. And you guys have been there when you take over a program. Jason, start with the first priority that you should have going in.
Both these guys are offensive coaches. By far, the number one priority is to get the quarterback right in an environment where he can succeed. Derek Carr's in the prime of his career. Trevor Lawrence is just getting started. They want to do everything they can to give these guys to have a chance to have success. Starts with personnel. You got to get linemen. Let's get some skill around them. But even the day-to-day stuff, how you practice, there's going to be plenty of time to throw routes on air. There's going to be plenty of time to do one-on-ones. There's going to be plenty of 7-on-7 reps. They're going to do everything they can, everything in their power to get these guys right.
You sound like an offensive coach. I'm telling you. Yeah, Jason's right. You got to get the quarterback right, and these two guys will. But coaching is more than just the quarterback, and it's changing the environment. Both of these teams need that, and I was amazed. I took my boys down on the field because I wanted them to see it. Two of my former players, Todd Washington and Chris Jackson, are coaching for the Jags, and they told me Doug Peterson has changed this culture, this environment. He's the father figure that these young guys needed. Josh Allen, their great defensive player, came up to me and said, we are going to be a different team this year.
And we are good teammates because guess what we found? We found Coach Dungy's Hall of Fame gold jacket. And we're not enshrining you, but you do have to put the jacket on while we're here. Yes, there you go. Even the fans are excited for this, Coach.
I thought Simsy had the best line, though.
What?
Coach Dungy leaves the gold jacket at the hotel. He said that was player Dungy coming out, not Coach Dungy.
He was like, if it's not in my closet, I'm not going to be able to find it. How does it feel, Coach? Let me dust it off for you.
You know what? It feels good, though. It does feel good.
It looks fantastic.
Well, I would listen to Coach when it comes to the first priority because that culture thing worked for him. It got him a gold jacket for sure. But guess what else the other time it is? It's time to start your NFL draft, your fantasy draft. Are you excited about it? Because there's no better way to get into it than the Roto World Draft Guide. Now, Doug Peterson's former quarterback, Jalen Hurts, is gracing the cover. But for more on Hurts, we're so excited to welcome the newest member of our team, who is with his hype man, Chris Sims.
That's right. We're at the Hall of Fame, and I'm with a legend, a Hall of Famer of the fantasy world, Matthew Berry, joining NBC Sports. So happy to have you a part of the team, buddy.
Chris, it's a dream come true. I've watched this forever. To be a part of the broadcast is amazing.
Well, let's talk about the guy we just saw on the cover, Jalen Hurts, right? A lot of buzz around him right now in the reality world and the fantasy world. What's the Matthew Berry fantasy evaluation?
Currently going as quarterback 8 on Yahoo, 7th round. I think that's too low. Now, everyone knows about the rushing, but people question the passing, they question the accuracy.
Right.
But think about another young quarterback who had good running but had questionable accuracy, Josh Allen. Look at Josh Allen's second year, and then look at Jalen Hurts' second year, which he just completed. Jalen Hurts, more passing yards, higher completion percentage, more rushing yards, same interceptions, same touchdowns per game. What happened going into year 3 for Josh Allen? They gave him Stephon Diggs. Completion percentage goes up.
Right.
He was the #1 quarterback in fantasy. What did they do this year? They gave him A.J. Brown, who Jalen Hurts is very close to off the field. So with a second year of Devontae Smith as well, the #1 quarterback in fantasy is within the range of outcomes for Jalen Hurts. I'm at QB4. I'm not saying he's got Josh Allen's arm.
Yes.
But I think the passing improves a lot, and he's going to be a top 5 fantasy quarterback this year.
I can get behind that in the fantasy world. It makes a lot of sense to me. It really does. First off, I love Jalen Hurts, his leadership, that he brings to the table. That's all great. Great offensive line there in Philadelphia. Actually, maybe the best in football. Weapons to throw the ball to. Pretty good running backs. I do question, like you said, the accuracy. That would be my Chris Sims reality assessment is when they can't run the ball, if he can't scramble, will he be consistent enough and help them win with his right arm? That's the one thing I guess I'd like to see still too.
Well, remember, second year of Nick Sirianni's offense. His rookie year, he was with Doug Peterson, right? Josh Allen's been with Daboll the entire time. Obviously, Daboll now with the Giants. And what I would say to their great offensive line, for me, He doesn't have to be a great NFL quarterback to be a great fantasy quarterback. Good schedule for the Eagles. Give me Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback this year.
All right, you got it right there. There's your fantasy expert, Matthew Berry. Maria, back to you.
Dropping all the knowledge for us. Make sure you check out Matthew's 100 Facts for the fantasy football season. They're up now on Roto World on NBCSportsEdge.com. And you can also watch his Roto World Draft Guide show on August 17th on Peacock. And now we welcome in Mike Florio, and obviously there's one story, Mike, that everyone has been following the entire offseason. It's the Cleveland Browns' Deshaun Watson, and as you obviously know, he was suspended 6 games by an independent disciplinary officer on Monday for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy, but the NFL has since appealed that ruling. Okay, so what are next steps?
Well, today, the commissioner, Roger Goodell, decided the appeal will be heard by former New Jersey Attorney General Peter Harvey, who has helped the NFL for years in developing the current policy and in handling some of the past cases. The NFL Players Association will submit their paperwork in response to the NFL tomorrow. The rules require an expedited process. No specific date, but it should come fairly soon. And the most important thing to remember from the judge's ruling, her findings of fact, those are binding on the appeal. She concluded Deshaun Watson did it. Specifically, she found that he engaged in multiple acts of non-violent sexual assault with 4 massage therapists, 3 violations of the policy, and she also concluded that he wasn't truthful. And I think you put all that together, and there's a chance there's going to be a much longer suspension than 6 games.
Okay, I feel like there's so many pieces to this story and stages. What happens after the appeal?
Well, in the past, we've seen the NFL Players Association file a lawsuit to try to challenge it that way, and I expect something like that. The relationship between the league and union had been very good. This is hurting it significantly, and I think there'll be a fight in court at some point.
Okay, the question everyone probably wants to know is, will we see Deshaun Watson? Is there a chance we could see him week 1?
I don't think there's any chance because the union didn't appeal the 6-game suspension. So this is week 7 that's in play. He won't be playing week 1, but I'm told he will be playing in the preseason. So we'll see him, then we won't, for at least 6 weeks.
All right, Cleveland Browns' first preseason game is August 15th. Mike, it's good to see you here.
Good to be here.
It's great to have him here, and it's great to see the Jags and the Raiders. They're getting ready for their first preseason game, and remember, the Jags starting a new era under Doug Peterson.
Well, every August, the new football season kicks off in Canton, Ohio, and tonight launches a journey that will culminate in Arizona for Super Bowl 57, and Peter King has hit the road to learn how teams are coming together. So let's ride with the King.
Peter King of NBC Sports here at Raiders training camp, Buffalo Bills training camp, Patriots training camp, downtown Cincinnati.
The crowd goes crazy! Yeah!
Everybody on God's green earth is picking you to win the Super Bowl.
None of that stuff matters to anybody on this team.
Have you gotten a little bit spoiled now after going to the Super Bowl in your first year?
I wouldn't say spoiled. You know, it just humbles me.
Do you feel like you're coming into this season with a blank slate?
Stay the course, keep progressing. We're going to be in a good position.
You going to win the job?
I like to think so, for sure.
You had what young people now call the haters.
If I ever listened to the internet, I would have stopped playing a long time ago.
Josh Allen, have a great year. Thanks
Peter.
a lot.
Appreciate you. Well,
for NBC Sports, Bills Camp, this is Peter King. All the best to you.
You still got it?
Nothing comes between Peter King and an outro. We all know that. As his training camp tour continues this week in Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota, and Kansas City, you can follow along with this Football Morning in America column on NBCSports.com. Over to you, Maria.
All right, appreciate it, Jack. And it is time to meet the newest Hall of Fame class. And Tony, how about we start with one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play for the Raiders, the late Cliff Branch.
Cliff Branch was a game breaker. He was a burner. Al Davis, their owner, loved speed receivers, and he was the fastest receiver the Raiders ever had. He could hit the home run from anywhere on the field, and it didn't matter how many balls he caught, Jason. He had an impact because you had to know where he was.
Yeah, kudos to the Hall of Fame voters. Only 501 catches, but he made them count. Over 17 yards a catch, 3 Super Bowls, made a lot of big plays for a lot of years.
And, you know, I think he was hurt because so many other Raiders went in before him. He had, you know, that game-breaking ability, and congratulations to the Hall for putting him in.
Absolutely.
You know, and his sister that survives him, Elaine Anderson, she did say it was delayed, or denied but not delayed.
Amen.
So it was impressive for her to say that we now feel at peace about that. But, Coach, you were 0-2 against Cliff. I hate to bring it up. I just had to say it.
She's such a hater.
Yeah, I am a little bit of a hater. All right, let's go ahead and go all on the field as we go from an all-time great Raiders receiver to their newest star receiver, Davante Adams.
Yeah, Davante Adams, arguably the best receiver in the National Football League. Aaron Rodgers threw it to him 30% of the time in Green Bay. That's not going to happen with the Raiders. They got too many weapons. They got Waller. They got Renfro. They want to hand it to Josh Jacobs, but he's going to make a huge impact. He's going to make everybody else better. This guy's smart. He's savvy. He's big time going to get that football.
Well, let's talk about the guy that throws the ball, Derek Carr, right? Underappreciated, one of the ultimate field generals in all of football. He was a robot that's been programmed by John Gruden. Well, they got to take some of the wires and bolts out, and now he's going to get reprogrammed by Josh McDaniels. I'm excited to see the tools at his disposal in this offense.
I'm excited to see Josh Jacobs. I know Josh McDaniels, he's going to commit to running the football 25 to 30 times. You're going to see a lot of different formations. You're going to see a lot of personnel groups. And Josh McDaniels doesn't get enough credit for the type of run game coordinator that he is, Chris.
And running game for the Jags on the other side, Travis Etienne. Fantastic young man. I got to meet him at Clemson. He's a leader, but what he'll bring is big plays. He can hit the home run from the backfield, and they can flank him out, and he can catch like a wide receiver.
I had an opportunity to talk to Christian Kirk, and I asked him, I said, do you feel like you have added pressure because of all the money you got paid? He says, no, I know I can be a #1 receiver. I feel like he can be the #1 receiver. The Jags offense was missing a lot of big plays down the field. He's the perfect guy. They're going to line him up inside and outside. He can make those big plays down the field.
Let's talk some defense again.
Yeah,
Defense, right. There's that side of the ball. Trayvon Walker, the #1 pick in the draft. Kind of controversial, right? Doesn't have enough sacks. Oh, no. Well, they didn't play him that way at Georgia. Here, they're going to get him out wide. He's going to go get to the backfield, get to the quarterback. Life will be simple. He's a freaky athlete. I'm pumped to see what he has.
You know, when I was talking to him, one thing he said he was focused on, he watches the Bosa brothers, Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald, and he knows that getting sacks isn't going to be pretty in this league, but he's willing to work for it. And I can't believe the quarterback brought up defense. Thank you so much, Chris Sims. All right, Coach, we brought you down to the field because you've actually coached in this Hall of Fame game, and you actually pulled out all the tricks the last time that you played in it or coached in it.
Well, we opened up the game with an onside kick. I actually got that from another Hall of Fame coach, Bud Grant. He used to do that to make everybody have to worry about it and defend it during the year. But it didn't work. But we set the tone. We got done what we wanted to do. And part of that, Maria, is seeing young players. And I think that's what the coaching staffs will want to do tonight. Can those young guys who look good in practice, can they translate that out onto the field?
Coach, that's what this thing's all about. It's about opportunity. It's an extra game, and you see him in real life. We had a guy named Jeff Heath, undrafted college free agent from Saginaw Valley. Nobody knew who he was. We're looking on the sidelines. Who's this guy running 10 yards ahead of everybody, making every tackle in the kicking game? He's knocking the ball out, got an opportunity, took advantage of it, got more opportunities. He's only played 10 years in the NFL.
Coach, that was my story. This was my very first game, the Hall of Fame game in 1994. I went down on the kickoff. I blew up the kickoff. I was physical. 2 days later, the coach called me in his office, said, Harrison, you've made the team.
Go ahead,
so
Rod.
that's right, that's the fifth rounder.
I love that every Rodney story involves him hitting somebody. Yeah, that's
always.
it.
We've never seen that, right?
We've never seen it. But we're going to continue to look at our class of 2022. And Coach Art McNally, how about him? He was considered the father of modern officiating and brought the instant replay to the league in 1986.
Yeah, he was a great on-the-field official, but then he took over the training of the officials and running the officiating department. He was the guy that I had to call as a young assistant coach and turn in our list of plays that we thought they got wrong. He was always respectful. He was always honest, and he did a great job reshaping the officiating department.
Well, how about this? He had a career that spanned 7 decades. And take a look at this. This was the scene earlier this summer when McNally received his gold jacket. He is the first on-field official to be enshrined in the Hall. He's watching back at home in Pennsylvania tonight, but his presence obviously is felt here in Canton. Congratulations again to Art and his family. The 97-year-old, we hope you're watching. Your impact is continually felt. Welcome back to Canton, Ohio. As you can see, the dark clouds rolling in. The entire audience has been asked to exit and seek shelter immediately as severe weather is approaching. So far, we still don't have a delay on the clock, but both teams have exited, gone back into their locker rooms as we wait to see what are going to be the next steps. But Coach. We've all been there through a weather delay.
Believe it or not, we had so much lightning in Tampa. We used to practice this. We wanted to get used to having a little delay, unforeseen. Can you still function when you come back out?
Absolutely. Relax in the locker room, take a breath, enjoy yourself, and then we'll get you warmed back up and get ready to go.
All right. Well, everyone's seeking shelter, but we're going to continue to celebrate here. Let's go all the way back to 1946. Now, remember, that was 1 year before Jackie Robinson made his MLB debut. There were 4 players that broke the race barrier that had existed for African Americans in professional football since the early 30s. Marion Motley, Kenny Wallace, Bill Willis. They all were able to break the color barrier alongside Woody Strode. And what's so interesting about it, Coach, is that Paul Brown was the guy who brought him in with the Cleveland Browns and made that possible.
And Maria, that had an impact on me. I grew up in Michigan. My dad grew up in the segregation era. I was 8 years old, and he took me to my first game, and it was the Cleveland Browns. He wanted me to see the Browns because, like so many African-American men in that time, he was a Browns fan because of Paul Brown, and Paul Brown bringing African-American players into the league.
Well, listen, the 4 of them are called the Forgotten Four. Marion Motley, they actually revealed a statue of him yesterday, so it's interesting to see just the impact that Trailblazers have had, because ultimately, you being able to watch that, Coach, allows you to wear this jacket today and believe you can be a part of the league.
No question. What those guys did, paving the way, was unbelievable. We can't even imagine it at this time, but they played well and played with class.
Okay, well, let's get a better look at all those iconic players, figures, and moments that have an everlasting impact on professional football. Yesterday, Coach, you went on a walkthrough with the guys.
We did. It was fun.
Here we go, Coach. Your old shoulder pads and helmet.
Jim Thorpe, he took the NFL to another level. 70s definitely brings back some memories for me. The AFC was dominant at that time, but I have to tell you, this was the best team in that decade.
This is the 93 season. Hall of Famers on this team. And the big-time moments made the plays. They always had their best games when they needed to have them.
The most incredible catch of Super Bowl history. I tried everything I could, brother. I tried everything I could.
I feel bad.
Coach, I thought I ripped it off his head.
How does the ball not come out there?
Well, Tyree's from Jersey, and, you know, they make him a little stronger in Jersey, Coach. So, I'm overwhelmed. Like, it's actually hard to process all this.
See your teammates in, you see guys you played against, you never, ever think you're going to be there. And
hey, at the end of the day, my boy Tony Dungy is in the Hall of Fame right here. Look at this, man. Come on, man.
And they gave you hair, Coach. Man, it's just a win-win.
It is so crazy. You can't even...
It's beyond your wildest dreams.
Beyond.
I'm just glad that Rodney put the gold bus back, and so it still actually isn't Hall of Fame. But, Coach, what was it like seeing the former players that you had in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I came here for induction ceremonies for players when I was an assistant. Then you become the head coach, and John Lynch and Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp, Edgerrin James, and you feel like you had a small part of them being here. It's a great feeling, Jason.
You had a big part in them being here, Coach.
That's
a big
what I was going to say, Jason.
Absolutely.
You had a great big part. All right, let's talk more about some of the guys who are going into the Hall of Fame this year. Why don't we start with the Super Bowl winning coach, Dick Vermeil.
Not only took 3 teams to the playoffs, 3 different franchises, but changed the way we coached. When I came in the league, we had 6 assistant coaches on our whole staff. Coach Vermeil brought this multi-staff people, individual work, and off-season program. He changed the way we did things in the NFL. Well-deserved for him to be in there.
And meanwhile, the Super Bowl winning coach, Dick Vermeil, was also a friend of yours. He made a difference with just one phone call to turn around the season. But Leroy Butler, let's talk about him, Rodney Harrison.
Yeah, I used to watch him as a teenager, and his play really inspired me as a safety because he was a complete safety. He was an excellent blitzer. He did a great job of covering guys out of the backfield. But the thing that really separated him from everybody else is when he got an interception, he's not looking to go out of bounds. He's taking it to the house. And this is the guy that invented the Lambeau Leap. Congratulations, Leroy Butler. You are the man. Thank you for inspiring me.
All right, let's stay on the defensive side. The late Sam Mills, the legendary linebacker, Jason.
Yeah, undrafted college free agent out of tiny Montclair State. He was 5 feet 9 inches, but he played big for a lot of years. He was the leader, the captain of that Dome Patrol defense, those great defenses the Saints had in the late 80s and the early 90s. Then he goes to Carolina, the expansion franchise, does amazing things for that franchise. He's a legendary guy, the epitome of what you want in a football player. He was smart, tough, physical. He made every tackle there was. He was a great playmaker. I played with him for a year. Unbelievable guy. I love Sam Mills.
That's right. Keep pounding. All right. How about an iconic Super Bowl champ for the Niners, Chris Sims, Bryant Young?
Bryant Young, Maria, in the mid-90s, early 2000s, there was only 3 big-time defensive tackles in the game. John Randall, Warren Sapp, and this guy right here, Bryant Young. Awesome against the run and had that pass rush value to get after the quarterback. You see this right here? He's sacking me. I wanted to make sure he got in the Hall of Fame. I was doing him a favor that day. A great one. Congrats.
One of the greatest Patriots ever. 3-time Super Bowl champion Richard Seymour, former teammate with Rodney Harrison. Hot Rod, your guy gets his gold jacket.
Absolutely, and don't let the pretty face move you. This guy was the anchor of our defense. He was a beast in the trenches. I had a conversation with Hall of Fame center Kevin Mawai, said he was one of the best, dirtiest players that he ever played against. Congratulations to Big C, one of my mentors, one of my good friends. C, we've had so many conversations about this. I'm so proud of you. What does this mean to you and your family to be considered as an all-time great to play this game?
Wow, it's humbling just to hear that. For me personally, when I'm around all of these Hall of Famers and everything that, like, as a kid watching these guys, like, to be here, standing here right now, and to be alongside the greats, like, this honor is my legacy. And so it's a tremendous honor, and I'm truly grateful.
I know you have a lot of respect for Coach Belichick and Mr. Kraft. What have they done for you in your career?
Well, I'll say this, and I know Coach Belichick, Mr. Kraft, they don't mind me saying this. Our relationship transcended football. Like, in my lowest times when I lost my dad, you think about times like that, and they were there for me. Even when I was a New England Patriot, went to the Raiders, I came back when Miss Myra Kraft passed away. So it's about those relationships and those bonds, because we all play the game, right? But it's about relationship, it's about people, and that's what I've been connecting with over this weekend, just hearing the stories of so many great legends that I looked up to as well.
It's amazing, man. So how would you define the personality of those great championship defenses you were a part of?
Well, I'll say this. It's guys like Rodney Harrison. It's guys like Willie McGinnis, Mike Vrabel, Lawyer Malloy. Like, they taught me so much about the game. They taught me the nuances of the game, and it wasn't just physical. It was about how to be a pro. Mm-hmm. And that's something, when he came over from San Diego, he taught me what it meant to practice hard. Like, this guy, like, he did it. He proved it. And I was very fortunate to learn. I was the young buck, the young talented guy, but I learned from so many greats that I'm just truly honored to be a part of. And that will be here this weekend as well, celebrating with him.
One of the best experiences of my life being teammates with Rodney Harrison. So what was the best part of being his teammate?
Oh, man, he's a jokester. He knows how to keep the mood light. And anytime you're in practice, you're in the dog days of camp, and, coaches are talking about, hey, it's light at the end of the tunnel. It's guys like him that you need on your side saying, Seymour, it's no light at the end of that tunnel. Keep your head down and keep working. So, but thank you, Rodney, on a serious note. Thank you for everything you taught me and what you meant to me personally.
See, you have so many friends and former teammates, former coaches here, and family members to support you. What does that mean to you?
Well, as I stated earlier, they honor that's my legacy. And so to share that with so many, because it isn't about me. Like, we all got stories and that sort of, but it's about the people that sacrifice for you. And that's what's most important to me. And to be able to share that moment with them this weekend, like, I'm truly honored.
Well, congratulations. You're in the Hall of Fame. That's what I'm talking about.
He's darn good at this TV stuff, too, isn't he? He really is. Hey, welcome to football immortality, my friend. It's New England royalty in the building this weekend, Maria.
Yeah, we might have to get Richard Seymour on the crew, too. He did a great job. But let's talk about Dick Vermeil. I alluded to it earlier, but you had a close relationship with him.
Yeah, great person, great coach. He had an impact on me, Maria. My first year in Tampa, 1996, we are 0-5 and struggling. And I get a phone call, and it's from Dick Vermeil. And he says, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you believe in. Your team is getting better. We got on a nice win streak, got going, and the next year we're in the playoffs. Of course, the following, he was broadcasting then. He went back into football, joined the Rams, and kept me out of the Super Bowl.
No big deal. But you were talking about Sam Mills and keep pounding. It just is him. It represents him well.
Yeah, my dad was the running back coach of the Cleveland Browns when I was in junior high. And he used to run these practices in our backyard on the Jersey Shore in Monmouth Beach for all the local high school kids and the college kids who are playing football. And one day Sam Mills shows up. He's 5'9", but he's 230 pounds, and he was carved out of a mountain. He was so impressive. He was quick. He was fast. He was physical. His approach was unbelievable. So intense. The attention to detail, how he finished, and he was such a great guy. Here I am in 8th grade and 9th grade. We're throwing routes against him, and he's helping us, showing us what to do. He signs with the Browns, comes to this field right here, makes 12 tackles in the Hall of Fame game. We're saying, hey, Sam Mills is going to make the team. 2 weeks later, they cut him.
Cut him.
5'9" linebackers can't play in the NFL. He goes to Canada. They cut him up there, too. He's too short to play. He's about to quit. He's going to go teach photography. And then the USFL comes up. I remember my dad passionately saying, Sam, you can't stop now. He goes to the Philadelphia Stars, one of the best players in the USFL, goes to the Saints, goes to the Panthers, and literally has a Hall of Fame career. Amazing story of persistence, perseverance for everybody, but especially for guys who are too small, too short, too whatever. Unbelievable guy.
I think Sam taught us all that, hey, look at the heart, look at the player, don't look at the size.
Might not be the prototype, but you might have the right mentality. All right, we are here still at the Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. We're in a weather delay. All of the fans have exited the bowl, but we're going to hear from Trevor Lawrence next, the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback. Welcome back to Canton, Ohio. The weather has definitely rolled in. It's pouring down rain. The severe weather has caused all the fans to have to leave the bowl. We're in a weather delay. All the players are also back in the locker room, but that's not going to stop us from continuing to celebrate the class of 2022 as they are getting inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And let's talk about Tony Boselli, the first ever draft pick in Jaguars history, and now their first ever Hall of Famer, Jason.
You know, I remember scouting Tony Boselli coming out. He was a tremendous athlete, but a great person. And he played left tackle, didn't need help, dominated the line of scrimmage, didn't play a long time. But for fans who don't know, this guy was a tremendous, tremendous football player.
A fantastic player. And, Coach, you were talking earlier about culture. And coaches can talk all they want about what they believe in, okay, but nothing reflects your culture more than the people you have. And for the Jacksonville Jaguars to draft Tony Boselli to be their left tackle, the first player drafted in the franchise's history, that's what culture's all about. Yeah. We want guys that look like Boselli. He didn't play a long time, but he played well, got the franchise off to a hell of a start. Yeah, due to injuries, was only able to play in 91 games. But from Tony Boselli to 26 years later, the Jaguars have their first ever #1 overall pick. They go with Trevor Lawrence. Let's hear from him. I had a chance to sit down with him in Jacksonville.
Hey, play free, baby. Go be you, man.
All right, Trevor, welcome to my tea party.
You should set this up.
I know.
Got the Jaguar print.
Bring you up to the owner's suite.
Get pampered a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Get pampered. The last time I feel like I interviewed you after a win was just the national championship when you were a freshman. There was a lot put on your shoulders.
We're all laying on the line for each other.
And you sit here before me and I'm like, everything has changed. How do you feel like you've grown over the last year?
I feel like I've grown a lot. I feel like I've had to grow up fast, which is, you know, kind of been the story of the last 5-6 years for me.
Those are the throws that make you go, he's got a lot to learn.
Having that experience from last year, I've matured a lot. Obviously, I had to lead in some adversity. Not really used to that, you know, from my past. And sometimes I feel like I'm 22, like I am. And sometimes I feel older and just every day learning more and more.
Win or lose this game, either way, we're going to keep getting better. So, let's go.
Okay, I want to play a game with you.
It's about to go down. In a minute, it's game time.
I'm going to give you a record and some stats. You tell me which quarterback's rookie season this was. 3-13, threw 28 interceptions, which led the league that season.
Peyton Manning.
Of course you know.
I've heard those numbers a lot, for one, and we're talking on the phone. He was just telling me, like, hang in there. You're going to face some struggles. It's, that first year's tough. I know what it feels like. And just kind of reassured me, no matter how this year goes, one, obviously every week you're trying to win and put your best foot forward, but it's a long career, and I feel like the morale stayed as high as it could based on the circumstances.
This is the Trevor Lawrence first win.
What is it that you want to show and or prove in year 2?
I know the type of player I am and that I can be on this level, and obviously I don't think I proved that, so got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder just trying to play to my ability every week. Really just taking that responsibility and let's do it. Let's turn this thing around and let's be the team that we know we can be.
Although Trevor Lawrence is just 22 years old, he seems like he's already been through maybe 5 or 6 seasons. Shows a lot of maturity, Coach, but obviously he's leaned on others to help him get through it.
Yeah, I know he's called Peyton Manning. They've developed a relationship and talked, and it reminds me so much of Peyton. Coming out with a lot of fanfare, coming to a team that had the first pick, didn't do well, didn't win a lot of games his rookie year, but I know from talking to Peyton learned so much that first year, and that experience you can't replace, Jason.
I had those same conversations with Troy Aikman, 0-11 his rookie year. If you're building quarterbacks, that's what you want to build. Trevor Lawrence, Troy Aikman, Peyton Manning, they're big, they're athletic, they can throw it, they're smart, they got a feel for playing, but the distinguishing trait for these guys, their mental and physical toughness to fight through this adversity early on. And I know both Troy Aikman and Peyton Manning, when they were holding that trophy above their head, they look back fondly on those lean years.
They do. I've talked to Peyton a lot about it. Yeah, only 3 wins, set a record for rookie interceptions, and he still doesn't feel good about that, but he wouldn't trade that year for anything because it helped him develop.
And by the way, Trevor Lawrence mentioned he's actually talked to Troy Aikman too. He came in town to do one of his games. I mean, he's been picking the brains of a lot of different quarterbacks, trying to figure out where he can improve in year 2. And we heard Doug Peterson say, listen, I'm real close to my quarterback. We spent a lot of time together communicating, Coach.
You know what? He's going to benefit from Doug Peterson because Doug played quarterback, knows how to get the best out of those guys.
He's been there. He knows how to handle success, knows how to handle adversity. He'll help them through it.
All right. Well, Trevor Lawrence is getting ready to begin his 2nd season in the NFL, obviously coming off of a very tumultuous rookie year, but looking to get things back on track here in Canton, Ohio. We're not going to see him on the field, but we are moments away, or so we thought, from the NFL preseason starting. Then the weather came through. I just saw a lightning strike. We right now have severe weather, so we are going to take a break. Mike Tirico is going to take over. We have plenty more coming your way from the Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium as we continue to celebrate the Hall of Famers and get set for season 2022 of the NFL.